How's it going so far? So in the last lesson, we identified a problem because we can move off of our grid. And we need to set the boundaries that the player needs to stay within our game area. Otherwise, they could go pretty much anywhere. So we need to set those restrictions. So that's what we're going to do in this lesson. So opening up where we handle our key press. So setting a condition, so checking to see if the player pressed left, and if they did, then we're checking the value of box X. So this is the variable within box where we're tracking the position of X, and we're checking to see if it's larger than game area. And remember, we got that bounding client bounding rectangle value, so that's the game area left. So making sure that if we're going left, we're not outside of the left area. So now even if I press left, we're not doing anything because we're not able to move left anymore. And we got to do the same thing for right. So the same idea here, where we're taking the value of box X, and we got to make sure that the value of X is less than, and we got to do a little bit of calculation here, because we can do game area right, but what that's going to do is it's not going to actually account for the width. So if we can still go over, but we can't go over too much, so we can still go out of bounds. We want to still restrict that, so we got a little bit more calculating to do. And lucky for us, we can get the width of our box element, so clearing that out, we've got our box object, and we can see that we can get the offset width of that, which is of course 100 because that's how wide it is. And we try to keep it, of course, dynamic as possible. So subtracting the value of box offset width should account for that ability to go one more over. So now we are restricting it to that boundary area so that we can't go off of the edge. And we need to do the same thing for down and as well as up. So taking down, checking to see if this time we're using box Y is less than, and we're using that same game area, and it's going to be game area bottom. So let's try that out. So refresh and going down. So we see we had the same problem here that we can go past what the bottom area is, and we need to make that same adjustment accounting for the height of the box. So add in some extra brackets there, and we're going to subtract the value of box and offset height this time. So that will account for the height of the box, and we'll just make sure that it works. So now we can't go below 17. And we've got one last one to take care of, and that's the up. So checking to see if box Y is greater than game area top. And try that one more time. So I can't go up, I can't go out of bounds, and exactly what we want to be able to do. And we see that we're still tracking the squares properly. So that's going to be essential in the upcoming lesson where we start activating a box in order to navigate in order to score within this game. So go ahead and add the boundaries into your project so that the player can't exit out of or get out of bounds of our gameplay area. And coming up next, we're going to add in our active object that we need to pursue.